day. All right, let's go to our leading story then, as promised, which was our breaking news in the last hour. Former BOSASA COO Angelo Agrizzi has been denied bail. Our reporter Samkele Maseko has been following the court proceedings, and he joins us now via Skype. A very good afternoon to you, Samkele.
Yes, indeed, Flo Ledwaba, a very interesting afternoon when it comes to the issues of accountability in the country and being and bringing those allegedly corrupt business people in cahoots with politicians to book a magistrate, Philip Venter, denying Angelo Agrizzi bail here at the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court, Specialized Commercial Crimes Court, saying that indeed he is a flight risk with the number of assets that he has sent offshore from his accounts in South Africa and to his accounts to his wife's offshore accounts, which has about 700,000 euros in that particular account, and the villa that he's just purchased and the luxurious vehicle that he's also purchased in Italy, that he's a flight risk, and that he can abscond the country and leave and create a saga like the Gupta saga in the country, where the government and the NPA is struggling with the extradition treaty that they have with other countries in bringing the Guptas to come and account for their alleged sins, corruption, fraud, and manipulation of the South African governance system in order to score multi-million rand of tenders. Indeed, Angelo Agrizzi is spending his first night in orange overalls.
Now, of course, I actually wanted to start here just before we talk about Agrizzi's woes today. Interestingly, his attorney, Daniel Wiltz, mentioned something which really has the conspiracy theorists going this afternoon, and that's about, whether or not Gavin Watson is alive or is indeed deceased, and that really sort of gave fuel to that theory that Gavin Watson might have staged or faked his own death. But I do see at the end there, Daniel Wiltz then sort of a about turn of sorts, kind of apologizing for that insinuation that he made. I believe the team has the clip. Let me just play that clip that the team does have on standby. We do understand he did kind of apologize for that insinuation. Let's play that clip, Samkele.
Because my understanding from, and we'll deal with it at a later stage, my simple understanding from the State Capture Commission and from all the evidence which at this stage stands, including what Mr. Smith said at the State Capture Commission, everything related to the late Mr. Gavin Watson, if he is the late Mr. Gavin Watson, we don't know about that at this stage, but if it's Mr. Gavin Watson, he did all the different dealings with Mr. Smith, not Mr. Agrizzi. So it's a case of, well, don't shoot me, I'm the man.
Samkele, where did this all come from? Gavin Watson, whether he's alive or deceased, just give us the backstory as you've been following throughout the day. How did this all come about? Why did this sort of come up again? And of course, it now has raised the issue again, whether the attorney has apologized or not, of whether Gavin Watson is alive or not.
This issue of Gavin Watson being late or not is not a new issue. Many South Africans, particularly when that accident took place. I remember in my previous life, in somewhere in Hyde Park, when I covered that particular story, many South Africans came out and said that, how sure are you that indeed Gavin Watson is dead? Did you see the body? Did you see the autopsy report at the mortuary? Many people are actually saying that it was another episode of Generations. So many South Africans are particularly doubting the issue of Gavin Watson being dead, and Advocate Wits did pretty much slip up there in saying that they even doubt themselves if Gavin Watson is indeed passed away. Some South Africans are saying that he's sipping some nice cognacs, some in an island abroad, and having some nice mojitos, but many South Africans are seemingly not convinced. But in some of the pictures that I did see the remains of Gavin Watson in a vehicle. I still have those particular visuals. It's just that I promised to the sources that I would never publish those visuals, but I did see visuals of Gavin Watson in the vehicle. I never saw him. I saw the visuals of Gavin Watson in the car. Whether he was dead or not is another story for another day, for people to interrogate and to investigate themselves. But Angelo Agrizzi's legal team did cast those aspersions that he may not be dead, but Advocate Wits at the end came out and said that he apologizes that if he created a perception that Kevin Watson is not late, and the damage that may do to the Watson family is unwarranted from his part, and he truly apologizes. But the issue of the death of Kevin Watson certainly raises a lot of questions.
All right, let's now talk about Agrizzi's offshore accounts, and which was spoken about quite extensively by the magistrate. Those that were sort of exposed today. What do we know exactly? We do understand the magistrate had said that there isn't really a problem with the assets in Italy, but the failure to disclose those assets, and really that sort of moving of funds from South Africa to Italy. It does seem that Agrizzi might have been a little bit sloppy, given that this was all done around the time that he was giving his account of information at the Zondo Commission of Inquiry. So there certainly is a link there, isn't it? And I mean, a lot of people have been saying, oh, you know, is this commission going to indeed, bring other people to justice, bring people to book? But it does seem there is some kind of a direct link to what we're seeing playing out today at the Palm Ridge Magistrates Courts to what we've been hearing at the Zondo Commission.
What it certainly comes across is that law enforcement agencies, the NPA, the Investigative Directorate, they are indeed doing their work. They are investigating and looking at accounts that have been set up offshore by those who are allegedly to be corrupt and to have had their hands in the cookie jar, to have manipulated the South African governance system in order to score multitudes and millions of rands of tenders. And it looks as if them finding out and tracing these offshore accounts of Angelo Agrizzi and the transfers of these monies between the period of December 2018 to the end of January 2019, which was a sum of about just over 11 million rands that was transferred to an offshore account by Angelo Agrizzi, and also another amount of about 11.5 million rands that was transferred to Angelo Agrizzi's wife's common law wife's accounts that is offshore, the purchases of that villa in Italy, and the Italian passport that has mysteriously gone missing from Angelo Agrizzi. And Magistrate Fenton basically saying that Angelo Agrizzi has reasonably set up a number of hefty resources that could set him up to live a very comfortable life that many middle-class South Africans only dream of making those resources that Angelo Agrizzi has seemingly disposed of to his offshore accounts, and that Angelo Agrizzi has no assets registered to his name in South Africa. And unfortunately, the asset forfeiture unit, law enforcement agencies can't attach those particular assets, as they are not in Angelo Agrizzi's name, they are not in his wife's name, but they are in the Agrizzi's family trust, and that Angelo Agrizzi has failed to basically maintain a mortgage that he has on his home, which is valued at about 13 million rands, and he owes that particular bank, commercial bank ABSA, about 8.7 million rands, and that home is in the process of being auctioned, but at this point in time, he still resides at that home with his wife. But Flo, what was rather interesting is that the magistrate was saying that Angelo Agrizzi's medical condition does not overweigh the issue of justice and the issue of him being a flight risk and creating another Gupta saga of failure of extradition.
All right. I believe you've got to run, Samkele, but we'll catch up with you. Thank you very much for that. I know you've been sitting there throughout that long proceeding. Thank you very much, Samkele. We'll hear from you later on. That's Samkele Maseko, reporter there at the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court, where Magistrate Philip Venter has, of course, denied bail. There was a bail application by the former BOSASA COO Angelo Agrizzi under the magistrate saying, sorry, no. But also interestingly, the magistrate saying that the decision regarding bail is a means to secure the accused appearance, not to punish in anticipation of a conviction. And of course, as he repeatedly did say, as he was weighing up all that was brought before him this afternoon, saying that His decision is really all about the interest of justice. What is in the interest of justice? The fact that we as South Africans do require answers into the recovery of monies that were appropriated, monies, ironically, that he himself kind of snitched on himself at the Zondo Commission. So certainly, as Samkele has said this afternoon, he's been sitting in those proceedings at the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court, that he will be spending that first night tonight behind bars. But there were some concerns raised about his health issues. Certainly, I suppose his legal team will continue to push on that issue. Let's take a short break. More after this.